was a dark and stormy night. The rain was pouring down heavily, and the wind was howling, making it difficult to see anything outside. But despite the bad weather, I had to fulfill my duties as a delivery driver and make my rounds before the night was over. I had been working as a delivery driver for a small grocery store for the past few years. It seemed like a mundane job, but little did I know that tonight would turn out to be the most terrifying experience of my life. As I drove through the deserted streets, the sound of the rain hitting my windshield was the only thing that kept me company. I had always been afraid of driving alone at night, but I had bills to pay, and this was the only job I could find. As I made my way to the first delivery, a chill ran down my spine. I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched. I shrugged it off as my imagination playing tricks on me and continued on with my deliveries. I stopped at a few houses and made my drop-offs, but one particular delivery caught my attention. The address read 128 Blackwood Lane, and the house looked abandoned and eerily quiet. I hesitated for a moment, but then I remembered that my job was to deliver whatever was assigned to me, no questions asked. Reluctantly, I got out of the van and made my way to the doorstep. The porch was old and creaky, and the front door was caked with layers of dust. I raised my hand to knock, but before I could, the door swung open on its own. I stood frozen in fear, trying to rationalize what had just happened. But then I heard a voice, a sinister whisper that seemed to be coming from inside the house. "Come in, delivery boy. I've been expecting you." I was too scared to run. I couldn't even move a muscle. I thought to myself that it was just my imagination again. But as I slowly walked into the house, I knew I was not alone. I could feel someone watching me, and a stench of decay lingered in the air. I wanted to turn and run, but my feet refused to listen. I followed the voice through a dark hallway and into a room that was lit with only a few candles. In the center of the room sat an old man with a long white beard. He wore a black robe and held a staff adorned with strange symbols. He looked up at me with his piercing eyes, and a sinister smile played on his lips. "You are here to deliver what I've been waiting for. Do not be afraid, child. I have no intention of harming you," he said, in a voice that sent chills down my spine. He handed me a small package and instructed me to deliver it to a specific address. I wanted to refuse, to run away and never look back, but something about that man's aura made me comply. I took the package and quickly made my escape, not wanting to spend another minute in that cursed house. As I drove to the given address, I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched, but I pushed it to the back of my mind and focused on getting the package delivered. The address led me to an old mansion on the outskirts of town. The house was surrounded by a tall fence, and the gates were adorned with strange symbols, similar to the ones on the old man's staff. I hesitated to get out of the van, but then I remembered the man's words. "I have no intention of harming you." With shaking hands, I walked up to the doorstep and placed the package gently on the ground. As I turned to leave, I saw a figure standing at the gate watching me. It was the old man, his sinister smile wider than ever. "You have done well, delivery boy. Your services are no longer required," he said, before disappearing into thin air. That was the last time I saw the old man, but the events of that night still haunt me. I quit my job the very next day, unable to even look at the delivery van without shuddering. And since that night, I have always wondered what was in that package and what sinister purpose it served. To this day, I still avoid driving alone at night, afraid that I might come across that cursed house again. And I warn all delivery drivers out there, beware of your night deliveries, for you never know what eerie horrors await you in the dark.